Oh, my
Hey,
goodness.
guys, it is Scotch 4 Dummies Thursday night. All four here. We're having a good old time.
Yeah.
Already.
Oh,
Wheels
my
are off.
good.
No, gosh, I wish you guys
For
were
you.
involved in the pre-show conversation.
Oh, my
Yeah,
God.
You know what you're
I'm
at.
crying a little bit.
So, FYI, become a patron and on Patreon, and you can join the pre-show where we have great discussion. We
Oh,
have a
so
dozen
awesome.
people on tonight. It was
Yeah,
great.
we had good chats. It was
good
fun.
time.
But after we left them, we had 5 minutes to get ready for the show, and those 5 minutes with them back.
Oh, my goodness.
All right.
Wait till next
now we're
weekend when
ready.
you get to enjoy it with us face to face.
Now we're ready.
Ooh, yeah. Next week is that. You know what? We probably need to get that out of the way. There will not be a live
Let's hit it.
show next week
Correct.
because we have some patrons coming into town to spend some time with us. So we will not be doing live. We might do some kind of, popping in or whatever.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Impromptu lives or something
Vibes,
here and there.
Yeah. But happy Thursday, gents. It's been
cheers.
a couple weeks since the four of us gotten together, and it's always a good freaking time.
Well, yours is a lot darker than mine. What
Well,
you got
'cause
going
I
on?
warmed up with
He's
this
ahead of
guy.
us.
I'm still enjoying this one.
So I was gone for a couple weeks, and while I was on the getting ready to come back to the U.S., I happened to stop by, or I was in the Edinburgh airport. And Edinburgh has the best whiskey selection of any airport in the world. Especially the Scotch selection. So I picked up this little thing. It's a 15-year-old Glengoyne PX cask.
PX cask.
It's a great light whiskey. It's got extra sweetness in it. But that was just one of the man. If I had $1,000, I could spend it every day in that airport.
On one bottle or on 10?
Yes, because they have all that. Every major Scotch brand has travel retail exclusive bottles in that airport. It is crazy. So that's what you guys are starting with. I had a little Tom Tool earlier, so we're gonna stick with that for now.
It's really good, by the way, this Tomatel. It's so delicate, and it's got some really nice flavor to
A
it.
Madeira cask.
Yes.
Yeah,
It's
I
super
like it.
Madeira.
But that's not something that you get in most
No.
scotches. So it's kind of, I like the difference in it. It's
Yep.
a little unique.
It is unique.
24-year-old, still at 50.2. Pretty cool.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah,
But
apricots, lemon.
I'm
It's
a
great.
big fan of PX, so I haven't tasted this yet. I'm letting it kind of sit. But I wanted to say hi to who all's here,
yeah.
who all's not. What do we got going on? I see Trooper, Glenn Goyne. Hey, buddy.
It's hot down there.
I'm assuming Trooper's on shore. I'm hoping he's on shore.
It's still hot.
It is still hot. Just trying. Okay. Alan Newland and Crafty Wheel. Howdy, howdy, howdy. And then there's our pre-show folks, Everwin and Jeff and Tom, Chad. Hey, Peter Newton. Time for drams. Indeed it is.
Absolutely.
4-leaf whiskey. I like
Cheers
the
to
little
that.
emblem. Heck yeah. Good. Nice.
I love the emojis too.
I know.
The members are using the cool emojis. I like it.
Yeah, I do too. So I'm going to try this real quick before we get in, because we need a preview of what we're going to talk about tonight, Andrew.
Well, so the last couple weeks, I had the opportunity to spend 2 weeks, roughly about 13 days, in Ireland and the UK. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through a little bit of the whiskey I picked up there. We're going to go through a little bit of pictures I took while we were there. Some of them family, most of them whiskey.
Attaboy.
See, it's funny. My wife got all the family pictures, and I got all the whiskey pictures. It was really weird when you go through that.
Works out good. Works out.
So we're going to go through that, and we're going to go through kind of in a whiskey perspective as well, because I've got the bottles I picked up there, as well as we're going to probably start, once we go through this opening dram, I've got a couple of samples that I got from Aquavite, Roy, while I was in Scotland, that are fantastic whiskeys. There's a story behind them, and we're going to have a great time going through them. I've got a 4-ounce bottle, so we'll go through that. Everybody has enough to sample, and we'll probably have some left over if we need it.
So just so you all are aware out there in virtual land, we haven't been through this, the other three of us. We've had a chance to talk to Andrew since he's been home, but we haven't really got the deets on the trip,
Correct.
right? We haven't really seen some of these pictures, and excited to see what you thought of it all. You've been to Europe, obviously, several times.
Yeah.
You've been to Paris, I don't know, a dozen times,
I've been
right?
to Paris several times. My wife's a French teacher, so we've done that. I've been to Ireland once for work, probably 20 years ago-ish, 23 years ago. So that was new to me. In London, I've been there for work, but that was like not really. Maybe a day.
This is totally different.
This is totally different. And then Scotland I'd never been to before. So I had 4 days in Scotland, which is about 361 too few.
I was just going to say, right on, man.
So that will be. My son was there for a day and a half and said, "I need to retire here."
And he hasn't even started his career.
Yeah, he's 21. So
He's got a ways to go.
we'll see how that goes. But I'll show some pictures from that, and we'll talk through why it was so good.
Maybe it's not early. Maybe he hits it big and retires at 25. I hope he does.
That would be nice.
More power to him.
Yep.
Oh my goodness.
But so this warm up dram, if you will, since we're starting the show, this Glengoyne 15, it's delicious. I'm
Yeah.
Good.
Really, really good.
Nice
Yeah.
blend of spice and
Gotta catch up.
plenty of sweet notes and
Hold,
PX
'cause
notes.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to start with the first dram, and we can drink it and discuss it while I go through some pictures.
Okay.
And then we'll do the last dram at the end, or the final sample at the end.
You the boss. I'm excited to hear
whatever
about your
you wanna
story,
do, man.
So the
'cause
the key is with Roy is he is a very generous sampler. He gives you samples that are exclusive, that he knows we're going to love, and he just does it out of his heart. He doesn't get gifts of whiskey from people. All of the bottles that he has and he does reviews on are all purchased by him.
Right.
So to prevent any prevention, I mean, it's funny though. Even the time we spent with him, Ian, one of the guys that we'll talk through later, had some bottles. Hey, do you want to take this? And Roy said nope. And Ian said, yeah, I know you don't take it. So I thought I'd ask. And it was a bottle that you can't get yet. And Roy could have had it. He didn't take it because he buys all his bottles to make sure he is truly objective.
In all
his
fairness,
whiskey.
though, he has access to all those bottles to buy.
Correct.
I mean,
Someone offers it to me.
Sure.
Well, and it's nice that I'm sure even if he buys all his own bottles, they set aside a bottle for him to buy.
Well,
That's
he has
like-
opportunity, and he does get samples. He does get samples of whiskey, certain things that are unique or that are like really expensive bottles. He'll get samples,
And that's more
his-
homework for him. That's the background. That's him
Exactly.
exposing himself to these whiskeys.
That's
and
research.
if he needs to, right, it's the research, right.
Yeah.
It's a tough job.
No, I mean he's got it made. I love his. He's where we want to be. You know, in this what we're doing, that's where you need to be.
Yeah, when you're just a part of a day drive away from most of the distilleries,
Right.
It's pretty nice.
Doesn't
Convenient.
suck.
Yeah.
More convenient than we are.
I'm glad you got a chance to see him and meet him in person and hang out. You actually went to his house, I think. Didn't you? You got to.
I did not. So we were staying in Newtown in Edinburgh, and so it's funny. He actually drove to Edinburgh because he had to drop off some samples for his live that was the Thursday after. So the last VPub he had Jenny from Arden Merkin and Ian Forteeth that were on his live. Jenny lives in Edinburgh, so he brought her samples, or he came pick me up. Then we went to her house. He dropped off samples. I talked to Jenny for a while. It was great talking to her. And then we went up to Deanston, met Ian, gave Ian his samples, and then toured Deanston Distillery. So crazy. It's such a small world there. It's crazy.
It is small. You're right.
I mean,
It is.
you get to see two of my favorite things, Roy and Deanston.
Correct.
I cannot wait to hear about Deanston. Like I'm super excited.
So when we were there, Roy has been to Deanston lots of times, but we were able to see something that he'd never seen before.
Oh, what?
And I've got a
was?
picture of that there.
All right. Well, so
Oh, I can't wait to see
spoiler alert.
All right.
Was it you?
Foreshadow.
It was
Was it me?
It was me actually. Of all the times
Unique
we've
and
talked
decent.
and we've done lives and we've done stuff with him,
So-
I've never actually met him. So it was
Right.
great to meet him.
So let's do a quick flashback. So we met Roy. Oh my God, how long ago was that?
2017-ish.
Yeah, and it was one of those things where we were still kind of new in the whole YouTube world, whatever, and he hasn't got into YouTube yet.
At all.
At all.
To the point of where he was camera shy. He didn't even want to be in camera. But he reached out to us, found out we were there, and met with us. And long story short, it was one of the greatest couple of days we've had with him. Great guy. Ever since then, we built such a great friendship, and obviously everyone else knows who he is now. He's the godfather of Scotch, basically.
Aquavitae, yeah.
Aquavitae. So, but you haven't met him yet, technically. Nope. You finally got to meet him.
So he told me the story that when you guys were in Ireland or something.
Right. We were in
And
Dublin.
you had done
We tried to do a live from a hotel, which wasn't great.
Wi-Fi sucked.
Well, and he saw that, and then he said, "Well, they're coming to Edinburgh. I can I can meet up with him. So he like contacted you because he knew you guys were going to be in town. I was like, I'll go meet them. And you guys didn't even know what it looked like, did you?
So,
No idea.
Drew and I were like, man, this is weird. This
We were
guy's
we were
reached out.
we were
Like, who the
touring
hell
the
is this
castle,
dude?
and we're like, well, we gotta go meet this guy. We're like, what's he look like? Wives are like, what's he look like? What's he doing? And we're like,
Don't know.
No
Never-
idea.
Never talked to him.
So where did you meet him?
We went to Kentucky. And
we
met
were.
Alan.
Did you meet at the Scotch Whiskey Society?
Yeah,
Scotch
so we
Whiskey
were
Experience.
the castle, the Edinburgh Castle, is right like a block from the whiskey exchange.
Scotch Whiskey Experience.
And he,
Experience,
yeah,
yeah.
and he gave us, he met us there, and then he already spoke to the management there and got us a personal tour. It was unbelievable.
I mean, like
the
we got
guys-
in and just walked in the back door and got. It was like he already had pull and he didn't even
Yeah,
know
he
he
didn't
had
even
pull.
know.
It was incredible. But he wouldn't get on camera. He's like, no, I don't do this. And we're like,
He filmed us walking into the SWS. I mean, anyway, we've
Yeah.
said the story enough times, but great guy. I'm just glad you got to meet him finally. It's your turn next.
yeah.
absolutely.
And I'm glad that you had a chance to experience some whiskey with him and go
Oh,
through
yeah.
it. And he is definitely a
Dude,
very
he
generous
just knows.
guy.
I mean, he tastes the whiskey and he just like picks it apart like that. I mean, he just a savant.
Well, and it sounds better coming with that accent,
It
right?
does.
You kind of believe it a little more. Like, yeah, I get that.
All right, so we're going to start with the first sample that Roy gave us. Of course, he's got his fancy labels on it. It is an Ardent American Madeira cask.
Oh.
So this is
Okay.
This
okay.
is the 10.22 Madeira cask. I looked it up. It's running about 300 to 800 pounds right now.
Oh my goodness.
It's crazy. So let me pull out my paperwork
What's
here.
10.2 mean?
So 10.2 means it was bottled in October of 22.
Okay.
This is 46% ABV. Runs for about $350 to $800 on different servers. Yeah.
You said 46.
Oh no, I'm sorry. That was a different one. So this is the
58.2.
yeah, Ardent American Madeira.
Yes. Okay.
So this is 58.2% ABV. This is like maybe $200, give or take.
Still.
5 years in a first fill bourbon cask, 1 year in Madeira hogshead, non-filtered, non-colored.
So
Apparently, it's great.
Looks like honey.
It does. It's a fantastic whiskey because I haven't tasted it, or I did just do a sample because I looked up Ardent American and their 10.22 is weird because depending on if you just get the 10.22 like standard release, it's like half peated, half not. So I had to taste this. I'm like, is this peated? And it's not. It's not a peated version. There's like 12 casks that were in ex-bourbon, and
How long did you say it was in Madeira?
like 1 year. It's finished
Okay.
like 1 year. So it's a fairly young whiskey, but it's going for a really high price. So
But-
so my data may not be perfectly complete on this, but it's a great whiskey from what I
We'll leave a
hear.
little
And
splash
we're going to
just
go
in
through it
case.
here a lot. So Roy gave me these bottles, and I debated about did I want to do them blind. But these whiskeys are really there's something we need to discuss. And so doing them blind, I didn't want to do that this time. I wanted to talk through them. I wanted to be proud of the whiskey we're talking about here and go through them.
But what I wanted to point out, guys, as you're nosing this before you really get into this. So before, I mean, as we started the show tonight, we were warming up. We had already had a Tom and Toole 24-year-old Madeira.
Correct.
And it sat in that cask for 24 years. So it was very heavily Madeira influenced, right? I mean,
Yeah.
right up front.
Yeah.
You're like, Jesus, this is Madeira. So this is not going to be that. I don't want to, in your mind, don't try
There
to
it is.
compare the
It
two.
is hot on water.
I am not comparing it at all.
No, I
but
just nosed this, and the
Well,
alcohol hit me.
it
hard.
didn't actually smell that hot to me at first. and it's
No,
starting
when I
now.
poured it in my glass, I was like, well, this doesn't smell like anything.
No, it's starting to heat up now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's heating up. So we want to go through that, and we can talk through this while if we
Yeah,
want to
let's do
start
that.
through the
Ooh,
presentation
I get a lot
or
of
go
that
through it
bourbon.
first.
I get a lot of that vanilla.
Let's talk for a second, and then we'll get the presentation going.
All right.
I'm getting it sounds weird, but like I'm getting like steak, like
Meat and potatoes.
meat and potatoes.
Honestly, I'm getting like a hint of anise, but I don't know if it's the alcohol.
So
Because now that I've let it sit, it smells hot.
So if you want to look this up online and get a good, I hit multiple sites on this 10.22 Madeira cask, and depending on who you talk to, the different reviews will give you different results. So I'm not fully versed on what's actually in here. The website, the Ardent American website, is pretty vague on it as well. So,
Okay. So up front, my very first nose, I wasn't getting the high ABV. It was approachable, just like your first nose. Because even he leaned over, he goes, "What's the ABV on this?" And I showed him. He's like, "Doesn't give me that."
No,
and
it doesn't.
Now it does.
So, yeah, but my first nose, it wasn't hitting me like that, and I was getting a lot of ex-bourbon vanilla up front. But now that's gone, and I'm getting Lori's seasoning salt, which I think is
It's a
where you're
steak,
saying
yeah.
is that steak.
I'm telling you, this is a punch in the face.
It's delicious.
But
And it's unique.
But the thing is, it kicks with some alcohol, and it kicks with flavor. But it's not like a deep rich. It's a light. The Madeira cask is such a light
Water's gonna be
whiskey.
great for this.
I let it sit, and the
flavor.
vanilla comes back.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, it's like creme brulee with berries on it.
Yeah.
Like
Yes.
it
Taste
is.
it
It's
then.
got like
Yeah.
some vanilla pudding notes, and
I need to add water to it. 'cause I
it's
think there's so much in
surprisingly
it.
vanilla, but it's got a nice hit of the Madeira influence. Like you get some of those nice Madeira
Don't be afraid of water in this one.
sweetness.
No, it can take it. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it'll
it's-
just brighten up and sweeten.
I would say it's almost like, to your point, so I've had my second sip. The first sip was definitely a lot stronger. Now I'm getting more flavors. I think you're spot on with creme brulee, but almost more syrup, more bourbon kind of creme brulee as far as potency, if you will. And then definitely the caramelized sugars.
So do you guys remember the Lifesaver lollipops? They were basically big Lifesavers that were
Yeah.
a sucker, though. There was one that had red and white. It was like a cream.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'm getting that cream half of
Cream?
Yeah.
I would agree that this is so light. Their distillate must be just a delicate flower coming out because it. For the Madeira
did you have
cask.
an age on this?
No.
I don't know if I would call this a delicate flower.
No.
Yeah.
Well, no, but at this
understand.
ABV, it's not.
Right?
At this ABV, it's not. But the flavor profile is soft and
I
sweet.
don't know. It's got some potency to it too, though, man. It's pretty. I think that the caramel is really potent into this.
But there's a little meatiness in the back end, though. There's something back there.
It must be the wood influence, right? Pushing through.
Hey, so you put water on it and it doesn't do anything to it at all.
It takes the heat down, but no, those flavors.
Not even that, really.
Those flavors richen up.
I think I'm going to have to put more water on it.
Good Lord.
It's kicking it.
All right, I went a little heavy because of your comments.
Thanks, Tommy.
That's a lot, man.
You can't have too
I will
much.
say that is. We've called a lot of scotches creme brulee. This is probably the most potent creme brulee I've ever had.
Yeah, because it almost does have some of that burnt in it.
It does.
I mean, is that
Little charring,
Yeah.
caramelized sugars,
Yeah.
and it has that pudding kind of, but it also has like
I think it's the Madeira that's giving it that like
caramels.
that burnt-ish flavor.
Yep, I think you're right.
wow,
Boy, it is creme brulee, especially with water.
Yeah.
wow.
It's super sweet. The alcohol comes down.
Okay,
Caramels.
you want to try and get your PowerPoint up here?
Yep. Yeah, so I'm going to work on this
So
for a few minutes
So
while you
and
talk.
feel free to talk over me while we're going through it.
Okay.
So what I did today, or what you're seeing here, is,
Who are
is
these
our,
beautiful people?
Our first day in Ireland. When you land in the morning, you got to do something because you can't sleep. Well, it was my wife, my son, my daughter, and her fiance. Well, my daughter's fiance had some stomach issues basically as we got to Guinness, and so he had to go back to the hotel, and my daughter went with him. So the Guinness part, it was only just the three of us, which is unfortunate because I think they both wanted to see the Guinness brewery. So we start out at St. James Gate. I think, we need to move the picture of us because this, there we go.
What did you do?
At the bottom of this bus stop sign on the right is apparently you can take this, you pick up here for a hurling experience, which I thought was a great picture. So in Ireland, one of the Irish games is
National
hurling.
sport.
It's hurling.
Yeah, I know.
And essentially it's like field hockey kind of with,
With paddles?
well, instead of using
Every Saturday and Sunday
you can pick
at
up here
10:30 a.m.
which I think is hilarious because of just the word hurling. You go to Ireland for hurling, but that's okay. So I thought that was interesting, but that was at the Guinness distillery. I'm going to go through these fairly quickly.
I love Guinness. I want to say one thing. I didn't like Guinness at all until I went to that exact spot.
And
then ever since then, I love Guinness.
And my son turned 21 like 2 days after we arrived in Ireland. And so we went up. He had his first Guinness. He's a convert.
I mean,
Guinness.
it's
creamy,
good.
thick,
like
yeah.
no other.
So,
The top bar on the
What?
top of the
Oh.
place, the bar.
all right.
is
So we'll go.
pretty awesome.
So also while we were in Dublin, we went to. It's not showing up very well.
There you go.
Kilmainham Jail, which is a prison in Dublin, which is a great place to go if you ever want to go, because it talks about a lot of the history of the rebellion against the crown and the history of Dublin with that rebellion and the revolts and all those kind of things. That's where they stored most of the political prisoners. This is the new wing that was built in like 1792 or something like that.
They've obviously cleaned it up. It looks nice.
Well, the thing is weird about it. It was built in the Victorian era, and the reason they had that big window above, the theory for jailing at the time was you have the window so God can look at the prisoners.
Ooh.
It was a Victorian thing. You could have one guy could see all the prisoners in the thing.
Friggin' Victorians.
It was an interesting time.
Well, you know what? I mean,
Look at that.
There was rationale why it was built like this, and it was about the current philosophy of prisons at the time in 1792, whenever they built this.
I'm not anyone looking at these little L brackets going, is that strong enough?
Yeah, well,
so I'm sitting here thinking, maybe who cares if God can see the prisoners? At least getting sunlight kind of helps.
Oh,
I mean,
well,
you're
that's my
locked
thought.
up.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, it would be huge. And also, this prison was used in a lot of movies as well. I don't remember which movies it was in, but apparently
Longest Night
it's
of His
beautiful.
Life.
It's a beautiful prison, but for a
Did
prison.
you see God looking through the window?
I don't know. I don't know if I saw that or not. But so definitely you want to try.
He didn't have any
If
drams
you're in
yet.
Dublin, take the bus out there, whatever you need to get there, and go through it because it's neat. Because the thing I loved about it is the tour guides had a great history lesson as you went through there, and then it's always good to learn about history of a region.
And where is this located?
This is in Dublin. Yeah.
Okay.
Dublin.
Yep.
By the way, I actually got enough
right.
water on this whiskey to make it ridiculously delicious.
It's
at this point.
right now it's money. It's sat here.
Oh,
it's
it took a little time
came
to get
down a
there.
little bit. It's so good.
It's
And
right.
it started at 58, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you're down to 50.
Oh, I'm probably like
maybe-ish?
47 right now.
Yeah, I'm in the
40s?
46,
It's
47.
so good.
It's still got some heat, but it's perfect.
All right. So while we were in Dublin, we had to do we had to try some Dublin. This is a Dublin flight. So up until about 2 years ago, give or take, there's only one distillery in Dublin, and it was Jameson. And so now you've got Teeling, now you've got the Liberties, and now there's another one there, which is right here. I don't remember what it's called.
Can't read it. It's hard to see it.
It's
can
in the
zoom
glass. Yeah, Pearson Iris whiskey.
See, you can
so
zoom in.
so those are the 3 or 4 distilleries that are now in Dublin. Did a flight there. I think my son's favorite was the Powers John Lane, which is a great whiskey. I think my wife liked Teeling, and I think that Pearson was one of my favorites.
Powers is made at Jameson.
Yeah, it's in Jameson, but that's the John Lane version, which is
Right.
the kind of the nicer version of it.
This was obviously before you drank.
And I
them,
think the
because
John
there's
Lane,
plenty of whiskey in there.
Yeah, that was at the bar before they gave it to me. The Powers John Lane is actually their pot stilled, so it's not coming out of their big. Their
I'm
big
laughing
stills.
at Jazz Real Hip Hop's comment.
What do you say? Which one?
Crying, oh Billy, with my naked chest against the prison glass.
Oh,
I'm
good
sorry, man.
Lord.
He's killing me.
I'll add that one. That's
You guys
funny.
are crazy. All right, so let's move on to the next one. All right, so of course in Ireland you have to go to Cliffs of Moher. That's the whole family there.
So awesome.
Cliffs of Moher on the right there. Family on the left.
Side note, time out. You got incredible weather. Look at how peaceful that
beautiful.
water
And
is.
yeah, there's no fog. It was beautiful. I mean, because considering those
You pay
cliffs,
extra for that?
those cliffs are 1,000 feet tall.
And you can go to this place 300 out of 365 days and have shitty weather. Okay?
Yeah, correct. It was beautiful. It was warm. It was a great time. So
Is this where Andre the Giant climbed up from Pirates of
Princess Bride?
Yes.
Right.
Is that the cliffs?
Cliffs of Insanity?
The Cliffs of Insanity. Yes, that is it.
All right, so here, so then after that, after we left the Cliffs of Moher, we went up along the coast, and there was a place called the Burren, and so that's my son sitting on the edge of the cliff there, and if you zoom back out and look at the picture on the left, See that little outcropping?
Yep.
That's where he was sitting.
How do you
What?
get down to that?
He was
You just walk out there.
I mean, he was sitting what right
He was sitting
here.
up.
on
Where
top.
it's,
So
where it's
see
eroded
that-
underneath.
See where that
Yeah.
little peak is?
Yeah.
That's where he was sitting on. So when we first walked out, yeah, that's a little peak right there.
Nice.
Yeah, I think.
When you go to the Grand Canyon and you do that,
I would do
I
that.
usually call that a bad idea.
Yeah, so that was a few. So this is the topography. So this is apparently this used to be the bottom of the ocean, and I don't know how many million years ago, and then it pushed up and created the Burren, which is on the west coast of Ireland. Essentially, this is just a few miles north of the Cliffs of Moher. So it's that same kind
Cliffs of Moher.
of edge. So it's all that rough. But the thing is, when you think of the Emerald Isle, it is not this. But that is, I mean, it's all cracked. I mean, these straight cracks. It's and apparently the tour guide said that several years ago somebody dropped their phone when they were walking around, and the bus was like delayed for hours trying to get the phone out of these
From the
deep-
cracks?
These deep crevasses.
From
that
the
go
cracks.
down.
Good luck. Just
Yeah.
walk
Or you
away.
could go buy a new phone.
Buy a new
Sorry
phone.
about your luck, dude.
You know,
Give me a break.
People have their own needs. So, all right. So let's go on to the next one. What do we got here? Where are we?
I think you
What are you doing?
click now. There you go. Oh,
First time?
That's that. All right.
Next
so
up,
while in Ireland, we had to look at go to McDonald's to look at what they've got for sale.
Royal with cheese.
You got the double Big Mac with bacon. How many calories do you think that is?
What's a veggie dipper?
That is the problem. So we had to look at the vegan menu.
what is
One of the
this?
things that the EU is pushing heavily is every menu has all the allergies, and there's an asterisk by all the allergies.
McPlant?
There's the McPlant.
What?
Yeah, I thought vegetable dippers.
What?
Yeah, we don't have these in the U.S., so that's always interesting to see. Is the spicy veg one?
What in the
Did
world?
you get it? Was it spicy?
We didn't.
I'm gonna-
We didn't buy it.
Veggie dippers?
I'm not going to Ireland for spicy.
No.
No, so we went to the. This was as part of our tour. We went to Galway, and this is at Galway, and had to go through there. But
Is fries not
what's this?
veggie enough?
if you go
for-
over here, this was a gelato.
potato.
There was this gelato place, and look at the flavors of this gelato. So sea salt, brown bread. Keep going. Chocolate whiskey, dingle gin,
What?
peanut butter.
I love the
and,
fact they got whiskey and gin flavors.
And the asterisk is it's got alcohol in it. So I think I had the chocolate whiskey and the peanut butter, I think, or something like that.
You didn't try the gin?
You didn't try the dingle?
We did.
Come
We
on,
tried the
man.
gin.
The dingle
we
sea salt?
got a sample of the gin, and it was
Ginny.
Ginny.
ginny. It wasn't anything special. But this is not your Italian gelato of
Hey,
pistachio and chocolate.
Flavior.
Yeah, but look also how much
Yeah.
€6 for a small gelato. It's a little touristy there, but what are you gonna do?
That's
Interesting.
Murphy.
Yeah, that was Murphy for you. So that was fun. All right, so then we went into Dublin and did
The library.
Dublin. We did the library at Trinity Cathedral. Beautiful. The
Saw the book.
Book of Kells. This was the inspiration for Harry Potter's library, things like that.
Yeah.
This is St. Patrick's Cathedral, I think, in Dublin. And then this is my daughter kissing the Blarney Stone, of course, because everybody has to kiss the Blarney
Oh,
Stone.
And
you
now
have to
she's
do
got
that.
the gift of gab.
Yeah, she already had the gift of
Oh,
gab. So
I was gonna
I'm scared now.
Take it away. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now, Mark did it too.
cure.
He didn't take it away.
No, it didn't. It doubled.
doubled
doubled
it down.
down.
So that was the end of our Dublin. So the next thing we went to is London. So this is pictures from London, as you would expect.
So hold on. This is kind of one of the big things for you guys,
This
right?
is why one of the highlights.
Yeah. So one of the things we did is my son wanted to buy his first legal beer at Busch Stadium on his birthday for, in Busch Stadium on his birthday. Well, we looked up where the Cardinals were playing on his birthday. Well, it was London. And so this was a couple of years ago or a year ago. So we said, all right, well, let's pivot a trip around this. So
That's pretty awesome.
This is at London Stadium. This is the Olympic Stadium in London that was built in 2012 for the Olympics, or built for the 2012 Olympics. And they converted it to a baseball field. And if you look, it's really well done. They did a great job.
Looks good.
It was packed. The Cardinals and Cubs played 2 games there.
So I have some friends that went to that game, and I'm like, are you kidding me? They actually did the same thing you did. They flew over there and went to that game just to see this.
Yeah.
I bet it was epic.
It was great because the thing is, waiting in line, it was people from all over with all sorts of baseball gear on. it wasn't just Cardinals Cubs fans.
Oh, was
There was
everything?
people from Germany. There were people from Australia who were in London for something, and so they had New York Yankees gear on because it was a baseball game in London, and so it was really a neat mix of people. But see, it's packed.
But I was
they
gonna
still
say,
sell both games.
You could probably get to a baseball stadium from Australia easier than
Well, I think they're working in London
That
or something.
seems fair.
But the
But
thing is,
it's packed.
It
It's
is
crazy.
packed, and the thing is, it was 85 degrees in London that day,
That's
so it
awesome.
felt like going to Busch Stadium because
Right.
it's hot and it's humid and it's all that.
Well, it was clear skies.
It was beautiful.
and- yeah,
It
that's
doesn't
awesome.
look like London.
yeah,
No.
exactly.
That's the same thing with so there's a lot of NFL games over there. It's the same thing that they don't just wear the game. The people are showing up. It's like every
Right.
team.
Yeah, so if you can kind of see over here where they had to up near first base, they had to bring out the stands a long way to try and bring them forward, but they did a great job. I think it was a great baseball stadium. It was I think it was a little bit short on the distance. But
Really?
there weren't too many crazy home runs.
I was
so
going to
it
say,
all
were there a
worked
lot of
out.
runs? Okay.
No, it was good. They actually split the series. Cardinals won 1. The Cubs won 1, so it was good. We were there when the Cardinals won, which is
Perfect.
Perfect for Ashton.
Tom has something for you. He says they have hurling every Friday night in Chicago.
Ironically
I'm not
enough, they
sure
don't
it's
even
right
do that in
hurling.
St. Louis,
That's,
Tom.
that's after you drink the Malort.
And Chet Anderson says the only time the Cubs have sold out, which
Yeah,
is not true. Cubs sell out. and,
Not true.
I actually
right?
went to the Cubs game a couple weeks ago. It was awesome. First
I've
one.
seen the Ivy.
Yeah, that
Many
was so.
times.
That was a lot of fun. So then, of course, when you get to London, you have to do the Big Ben Parliament. You have to do
course.
Buckingham Palace. You got to do changing of the guards. St. Paul's Cathedral. Do you guys ever see Mary Poppins?
Yeah, man.
Of course.
St. Paul's Cathedral, where she feeds the birds.
Yep.
Very important.
Very, very, very.
So yeah, so this is the typical London things. I didn't have as good a time in London because it's a big city. The beer's terrible. The whiskey's terrible.
Beer's not terrible.
The food is terrible.
The beer's not terrible.
It is.
Oh, it's
What-
terrible.
My parents are from
Terrible.
England. Watch your mouth.
Terrible.
Compared to Guinness, compared
terrible.
to
It's terrible.
yeah. So, but I mean, it's a beautiful city. I would go back because there's so much to see there that we didn't even get to touch it in 4 days. Plus a day at the baseball park, so that took away a day.
Did they have all the Charles things switched over already?
So it was interesting. They had a few things. So all of the red coats that we see here, their emblems that were changed to the CR.
I would expect that, yeah.
But there's lots of things that aren't. I mean, there's still things that in Ireland, there are still things that have Victoria on them.
Well, yeah, because they
VR,
keep
Victoria.
the old ones and on a lot of the things when they went into effect, whatever monarch or whoever was sitting on the throne at
Yeah.
the time. But so slowly but surely, Charles will change over. But
Yeah, at the London or at the Tower of London, they did have the Charles converted over, but they also had the symbol of the monarch during the building of that, and I don't remember who it was.
I don't know
But-
what's crazy. If you tour that thing, you're like the things that have happened there, the people that have been executed
that's
there.
creepy.
I mean, like
It is very creepy.
Henry VIII. I mean, he chopped off a couple of his wife's heads there.
Yes,
It's
that's a crazy
nuts.
place.
It happens.
Yeah.
Are we ready for the next jam?
Yes.
Oh.
Yes. Yes, I am.
You've
You're
been
talking.
Andrew's
talking.
busy
You're
talking.
talking, so you gotta.
So yes, we could do the next.
you got to
jam.
catch up.
All right.
We can talk while you look
Yeah.
through whiskey.
So you guys like Aaron?
Yeah.
Rogers, he's all right.
Generally, yes.
Aaron. So I'm talking about Scotch. Aaron Scotch.
Iran.
So Roy was able to give us a sample of the Aaron 25.
Well,
Really?
holy shit.
Have you tried this yet?
I have not. I've not even taken a sample of this.
Yeah,
yet.
Talk to me, Juice.
let me.
Yeah, rinse your glasses because this
is going to be special.
yeah, this is going to be a special dram.
Do you need a new glass?
Yeah, I need a new glass.
Or at least give me a paper towel. Or I've rinsed mine out.
Roy
and I
did a
can-
great job of giving us great samples.
I don't want any water on it right off the bat.
Ooh, look at that. It's fancy. Like
That
water.
is fancy.
It's a vine and table.
I like those glasses.
What, those vine and table? Yeah, they're heavy.
They're
I
really
like them,
heavy.
Yeah.
Drew, keeping it real. That's
you go,
right. That's what I do. Oh yeah, thank you.
Don't mind if I do.
So anything special about this other than it's 25 years old?
You know, Roy handed me these in a pouch
Talk to
and
me
said,
here.
"Hey, share these with the guys." That was all.
46
I
I
didn't
love.
know- I didn't
I
know what they
love Roy. He's the best.
were. So I do have
46%
some.
there.
I do have some information on it though. I did. So of course, non-chill filter, This was this runs about $350 to $800 in the open market right now. So 35% sherry cask, 65% bourbon cask, and then it was all recast. And this is weird, recasting to first fill or recasting to first fill bourbon or first fill sherry and refill sherry. So there was multiple casks. I think there were like 5,000 bottles of this. So
four things? Ex bourbon. What?
Soft.
So they took 24-year-old
years.
35% sherry cask, 35% bourbon cask. That was what they aged. And then they recast them. They like married it together and recast them in first fill sherry and refill sherry. So they just spread it out.
Pungency, then probably
This is
more of a
yeah. This
what they did is they
finishing?
kicked the flavor up at the end there.
is a lot of work.
25 years.
It doesn't look super dark for all
No,
that.
it's not. It's much lighter than the Ardnamurchan.
What's the price point on this? Do you have any idea?
He said
350 to 800 on the market.
350 to 8.
Yeah, you can't buy it now. I mean,
Christ's
generally.
sake,
So
that's a
depending on
range.
which market you're
ABV?
looking at.
46.
46, yeah. So it's not particularly high.
Very approachable.
Yeah.
46.
Oh,
Yeah.
it smells delicious though.
Is it? I mean, yeah. So I don't get much on the nose right away. So I need to coat the glass in it.
There's some like nectarine and
Yes.
It's
just
delicious.
some fruit.
Like it's straight up delicious.
It's
You don't need to
it
add
is
water.
officially
You don't
delicious.
need to do anything to it. It is.
No, right off the bat, right now it says
Juicy fruit.
Drink me,
It's
Juicy
like
fruit.
drink me.
Oh, there's some spiciness to it, like nutmeg and clove things.
So let me ask you this dumb question, Scotch for Dummies question. Aaron, is it considered a Highland?
I think so.
I mean, I think it is.
It's
or
a Highland.
I mean, it's
It's
an
an island off the coast, but there's no
islands
island
aren't
group.
aren't a true.
they don't have a
Right.
yeah, they don't
It's
have
not
a
a
region,
region.
so it's
So
technically
it's not a space island. It's not an isla. It's technically because I'll be honest with you, the nose gives me a Highland. That's
Yeah,
what I
totally.
smell. on
I
the
would agree
nose.
with you totally
Oh
on
my
that.
goodness.
It's light and floral,
I mean it's
but there's
Yeah,
sweetness to it.
I
That
do
sherry.
not want to add water to this
Nope,
because
it's
it
perfect.
is perfect the way it is.
it's just right.
The
And we got more, don't
balance,
we? We got the bottle. If you need to top off or whatever.
the balance of this
killed it?
is
Yep. That one we did.
from
Holy
the beginning
shit.
to the finish, the sweetness
Holy
to the maltiness to the
Malte.
wood influence.
It's multi.
It's really well done.
Get in my belly.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, now here's my brain is having a hard time of what they did to get here, right? So this is like a jigsaw puzzle they put together. When you read to me the
did.
process, right? You're like 35%. I'm like, okay, that's 70. Where's the other
No,
30?
no, 35% sherry, 65%
okay,
bourbon.
all right.
Well, he
so
did
that-
say 35 second.
Thank you. I'm
Yeah,
like,
sorry.
my head
I
was
just
That's
going-
the same thing,
Somebody's
but-
going to correct the math at some
I
point.
know.
It'll be fine.
Math
That's
is
fine.
hard.
You too, of
Hey.
course, obviously.
Please stop me
But-
if I talk too fast.
But I will say one thing is for the sherry piece of it, I'm not getting a huge amount of sherry.
No, I think it's
No, but I think it added the sweetness to it.
they're really broad.
Yeah.
It's not
Because-
sugar sweet either.
Because what I get is like that deep, rich Aaron flavor that's just kind of mellowed out over the years, right? And then they've like added some of the sweet sherry notes to just kind of like
Give it a
bring up the flavor profiles in a couple of different areas and just kind of round everything out. But it's really well done.
I like Chad's
Okay.
comment.
take a quick sip. Think of Aaron 10. Same family.
Yes.
Oh,
completely.
definitely.
Same exact family.
You're right.
Oh, you
related.
get the Aaron in the
It's
glass,
there.
For sure.
Yeah, I would not question this being Aaron
but
at
it's an
all.
older, more dignified version, and I think the sherry that they've added to it, it's more of a seasoning. It's not to cover anything up.
Correct.
It's just to like add some stuff to it to adjust the flavor to where they want it to be.
Yeah, this
and
this
can't-
takes Aaron
it's
10 to
great.
the next level. This is amazing.
So the cask they put in, this must have been not active casks because
No.
there's no oak. There's not over oak. There's not over vanilla. It's like you took their 10-year-old and softened it.
yes.
So when I look at what they did to get here, let me ask you. First of all, I would love to talk to the master blender, right? The master and see what caused you to do this. I'm not going to read the comments. I want to finish this question. Why did you do this basic algorithm to come up with this? Was it
the two finishing? Yeah.
Right. Was it so we got to do something with these casks because I don't like where they're going, and and then you come out and holy shit, you got a winner, right? You mixed a little bit of this, you mixed a little bit of this, and it's that's it, right? And what's the thought process behind it? Because this could very well be a lot of corrections to get to right.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So what they did is they took the 24-year-old whiskey and blended it in a vat and tasted it and said, where does this need to go?
It needs some sherry, but we don't want to do all first fill sherry. Let's do a half first fill sherry, half second fill or third fill, right?
That's exactly what they thought.
Yep.
That was exactly their thinking.
I can tell you, I've been working with some new cooks to teach them how to season things properly, and a lot of that stuff is counterintuitive, right? Like, you get something spicy, and they're like, okay, well, this doesn't taste. They understand that it doesn't taste quite right. Right, like if we all tasted that blend, we'd be like, yeah, it's missing something, right? And what the master distillers and the master blenders do is they come in and they're like, okay, well, this needs a little bit of this, right? If you put a little bit of this in that, it's going to bring out this other flavor profile that's totally unrelated.
Right, that's the key.
You can put in a little bit of salt and make something sweeter. Right,
yeah. That's experience.
So that's what they're doing,
right?
And what they're doing is, you don't want it all in first fill. Like, get some of those, old
spent ones,
BS casks over there that we've been sitting on, and put some in that because we just want a hint of it. Like, we don't want to overdo this, and just let it sit in there for a little bit.
The difference is a hint of it is years versus your
that's
let's just powder a little bit with salt.
But it's all still experience. Like, I don't.
That's crazy.
I mean, if you actually watch me cook, I don't measure anything.
Right.
Like, I haven't measured anything in years. I'm like, no, a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I cook, right? And it's the same thing with these guys. They've just been doing it for so long that they're like, yeah, you just need to do this, and it'll be fine. They're probably not even paying any attention. They're telling some intern. They're like, just dump it in the bread. Like, just do what I'm telling you. It'll come out great.
Trust
but there's two things to your point though. It's what resources do we have available to be able to do that to. And then time management too, like experience and time management. Saying, okay, well, I know. I mean, that's something that's unique to every, we'll say, whiskey maker, cook, right? That does it, distiller, right? Whiskey master.
Yeah, it's like I got to bottle this in 6 months. What can I do?
Yeah, what can I make out of this?
That's exactly.
What's it missing? So, but this is excellent.
It definitely does have the Aaron family, though.
Absolutely.
I don't think any of us are going to discount that this is Aaron.
But it's so soft and approachable. I don't want to put water on it. I don't want to change anything about it.
Enjoy it.
Great just the way it is.
How much more do you get left?
Going to enjoy it the way it is.
Way too much.
And they bottled it at 46.
All right, so I'm gonna start moving through this fairly quickly because we're about out of time.
Yep.
And
speed picture.
We're not even to Scotland yet.
I know.
That's
for
the thing.
Christ's sake.
So this is we had tea in Harrods. Had to do that. Proper British tea.
It looks delicious.
And this is I had to have a full English breakfast.
Man.
So it's got the eggs, the black pudding, the mushroom, the tomato, the brown bread, the hash brown,
the beans,
and some bacon. So you got to have to do a full Irish or a full English. All right. So we went to Tower of London. Great experience. See that? This is a little bar that's right under the Tower of London. We literally sat at windows looking underneath the Tower Bridge. I'm sorry, this is Tower Bridge.
Right.
See that? Yeah.
So we were sitting.
That's the bridge walking over.
We were walking over the bridge, and then we had a Guinness underneath, under Tower Bridge. So that was a really cool.
Is this part of the bar too?
Yeah, that's the bar. If you that's from where we were sitting, looking opposite where the window is.
Pretty cool.
That's a little pub that's right there. And then of course you got to go to platform 9 3/4 at King's Cross while you're in London.
Did you try to walk through it?
No, that person was getting their picture taken, so I just took a picture of them. The picture taken.
They should have tried to walk through it.
Yeah,
then.
no kidding. All right. Next is so this is where we finally got to Scotland. So first place, we had to go get some laundry done. So we stopped at a little bar while the laundry was running. Had to get a Loch Lomond brewery. Had to get a.
Well, that's cool.
Well, that is neat.
How was it?
It was a hand pulled. They were like, it wasn't like pre-carbonated keg. They had to pull the beer. It was
Yeah.
great. It was light and flavorful and
No shit.
great. And they also had an Orkney one there as well. That was kind of neat. And then, of course, there is Edinburgh Castle.
Doesn't look like Scotland with those blue skies. Are you sure this is
It
Scotland?
looks like too real.
Yeah, you can't make that up.
Has this been photoshopped?
It was. We had some rain, but it was crazy that we didn't have more than we did. All right, so this is Ashton
good stuff.
with his first whiskey of Scotland.
Wow. What's that Glengoyne? What is that?
18.
18.
Okay.
So I picked the Glengoyne 18. He had to pick the Balvenie Doublewood.
That's a good starter
12
one.
Not
Doublewood.
bad,
Perfect.
not
You can
bad.
see where
How
the
many
Queen-
times have you recommended?
we're at the Queen's Arms. Yeah,
Did you help him pick it out, or did you just let him like?
I helped him pick it out.
You put some guardrails up.
Yeah, I said this is probably in your wheelhouse
They
based on
didn't
what we
have
did.
a Glencairn? Though?
No, they didn't. They just gave us a big whiskey glass. I had it neat with some water, and that's what they gave us. So
It's okay. He looks happy.
Hey, he was happy. He loved the dram, and it was.
And he'll
it's
never
wonderful.
forget that one.
So he's
No.
looking right now. He's looking for a Balvenie Caribbean cask, 14 Caribbean cask. That's what he tasted.
It's a
at,
good bottle.
Ushka
That's
Bar.
You
Yeah.
turned your kid into the bougiest
Yeah.
college kid,
Exactly.
like since I was at Purdue.
All right, so then we had to go
I
to.
love
We walked through the Johnny Walker
Experience?
store. No, we didn't do the
Oh.
experience. We just went through the store. It was right across the street from the Ushka
Oh,
Bar,
yeah.
which we went to. We actually went to that. I got some more pictures about that. That bar, if you pull up their website, their food menu is 1 page. Their whiskey menu is 16 pages.
That's what it should be.
Yeah, that's the way it should be.
But the thing you sent earlier, this is what's interesting. Look at
the
Mark,
branding.
Look at all the new branding
Look
they
at the
have on
branding
this.
for red, black, and gold.
I don't like it.
Well, I do actually.
It's kind of cool.
I like it. It's more distinguished of what they're known for.
It's crap.
It
Oh, I love
completely
it.
changed, but they still got the off kilter label, sort of.
I really like it. I think that was spot on. Good marketing for them.
Damn interns.
Okay. So it's not vintage. It's new. It's newer.
It's
right.
it's a new contemporary look.
Right.
Absolutely, it
I
is.
agree, but
the big Johnny Walker signature on the
There's
black.
nothing like having plastic label all over my bottle.
That is exactly what it is.
But
You
it's
can't
Johnny
see the
Walker.
whiskey.
Come on.
Yep.
And when the plastic label rips off, you don't even know what you got. You just got the square bottle.
Correct.
Yeah,
Of course,
I
I didn't
kinda
feel
like
that.
it.
So, and this down here are the expensive bottles, which I'm not going to get into. We don't have time to go do that.
it's
But
Talisker Storm.
they had some great whiskey there too. All right, Scotch whiskey,
Whiskey experience. I've been
You
there.
got a taste in the room with 3,500 different bottles.
You could spend an hour looking through each.
You could.
And wanting to break the
two
glass.
oldest bottles were from 1897 and 1904. They're don't look too drinkable yet anymore, but they're still old. So that was neat. All right, then we go into this is inside the Ushka Bar, which I didn't shrink this down right, so I'm going to do that right now. Maybe
Got the corner.
I'm trying to.
It won't grab.
It's okay. So this is Ushka Bar. If you look at this picture over here, this is when you walk in, there are these little caves that sit outside the core of the bar with those curtains. And this is the inside of those. So we had dinner inside this little cave. Apparently, the story is this used to be like a market where they would store like potatoes and vegetables and stuff. This is underneath the street, and it makes sense. It's like a root cellar. So that was
So you
neat.
go in and buy your vegetables and stuff?
Well, or they would store them there and then sell them upstairs
Okay, I
or
see.
something like that.
All right, that makes sense.
So this is the whiskey, the first whiskey I poured. It was this Woodrow's of Edinburgh. It's an independent bottler. It's actually a Lefroy that was stored in PX.
Looks delicious.
Yeah, it was finished
Sounds
in PX.
good.
Sounds like a wheelhouse.
Leanne actually has a bottle of this. I noticed later after she got back, she had a bottle. She picked up a bottle of this while she was in Ireland. And this is Ashton's response to smelling that bottle.
So
Is that,
He didn't
is that
like
your
it.
kid?
Yeah, Lefroy PX is
Not a
his-
wheelhouse.
not his bottle.
Oh,
Which I think
maybe
is-
it
I think
falls
is
further
great.
from the tree than
Yet.
we thought.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
So then on Friday we did a bus tour, which took us to Aberfeldy. This is Aberfeldy. They're making 3 million liters of whiskey a year.
Holy
Huge,
shit.
Wow.
heavy volume distillery. These stills are massive. We got a picture of the Highland outside there.
That's awesome.
It's neat. This is a little model they have of the inside there where you can see the stills and the former storage, because they don't store any whiskey there anymore because they just with 3 million whiskeys a year, or 3 million.
Oh,
liters
yeah.
a
Yeah,
year,
spread it
You
out.
gotta spread it.
spread it out. So big, and they didn't allow many pictures inside, so we couldn't really take much there.
So you had to zoom.
Yeah. So then between after leaving Aberfeldy, we went through and drove a little bit through the Highlands. You know, beautiful countryside. No, this is I don't remember which creek that is, but just beautiful. You got the heather growing on the sidelines with mountains going through. Beautiful scenery. Loved it. This is the area where my son said he wanted to retire here. Then we went to Glenturret.
Oh my God!
Small distillery. This is 120,000 liters a year versus 3 million. So it's a very different distillery, much smaller.
Chad says you're not the father.
So what you see here, this is actually the former malting floor of Glenturret. They don't malt there anymore. This is where they now store their grain and they grind their grain there. And that's still that's the entire distillery right there. It's a tiny little thing.
It is interesting because we went and saw a couple. I definitely want to go see more. But when you start seeing distilleries for what they are, other than Macallan and a few other huge guys, I mean, they're really not that big.
They're farm distilleries.
Yeah.
They are
So
small.
if you look over onto the right by the car is the creek where they pull their water out for cooling and things. And if you can walk down to the creek and see the stainless steel thing that sits in the creek and pulls the water in, and there's a brush there so they can brush off the debris from the inlet.
Nuts.
That's pretty cool.
It's a small town distillery.
Dead sheep clogging the intake.
Exactly. There's the wash back there. They do a pretty slow distillery. So Douglas fir or something washbacks. I don't remember what they have there. All right, then we move on. This is more in Glenturret. There's their wash still.
Oh yeah, that's cool.
The big one.
Let me zoom in on that guy.
All right,
Look at that.
Our tour guide.
Look at
That's
that
their wash
lover.
still, where they do their big volume distilling. And then if you go down is the spirit safe.
Okay.
Where they distribute. This is when we were at Aberfeldy, it's all automated. They have automation that switches the valves between feints and this one is nice. A guy, and he said you literally take if you can see beneath there's a little lever that they just move it. Yeah, they just turn the thing from low wines to spirit.
Wow.
It even says on there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's all manual operation there.
Feints. Yep.
Yeah. And then this is the this is the low wine. This is the feints receiver. So keep this in mind. This is what you're looking at from basically a tank where they store low wines and feints that comes off. I guess this one, this comes off the feints and the tails off the spirit still, and then the low wines come in here as well. So they put it all together and then they put it into the the final spirit still.
Right. Run it.
So keep that in mind. That's kind of the tank. Just basically a cube tank. All right. This is our start at Deanston. So met Roy. Whoa.
Oh, you went too far.
Okay. So look at this is Ian Forteeth's car.
Whiskey.
That's his actual license plate.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? That he had that. These are the boot drams we did. This is he brought glasses. We have the Tomatul that we just tried and the Glencadam 18. And so we sat in his trunk and drank some whiskey with Ian and Roy.
That's awesome.
It was great time.
I mean,
people.
One of the things I love, we've been doing this for a long time, and it's so much more than just a YouTube channel. It's our community of meeting people. Honestly, next weekend is going to be off the chain. It's going to be epic, meeting all of our community friends that are coming in. But seeing that picture right there it doesn't matter where you live in the world. Like, it's kind of sad to say whiskey as alcohol, whatever, but man, it really brings joy to people, and that's a great example of just opening your trunk and sharing some great, amazing whiskeys with each other, and just camaraderie and talking about it. It's so awesome.
That was what it was. Just sitting there talking because we had lunch and we were getting ready to go into Deanston, and Ian took us out to the car park, and we did that. It was great.
Come here.
Yeah,
I got something for you.
Right.
So I'm going to fly through Deanston, great distillery. This is the old mill there. On the lower left is where as we were walking by, they were dumping the draft, which is the spent grains. They were dumping them into a lorry to take away to turn into fuel.
Okay, hold on, slow down. This is my baby. This is Deanston.
Well,
This is
in the
my
interest of time,
baby.
I know, but
I know,
just
you're
slow
running out of
down on
time
Deanston.
here,
This
buddy.
is my guy.
All right, so that's where they're dumping the draft into the lorry to take it away. This is where
Deanston 20 was born right here.
It's where the magic happens.
That's where the magic happens for Deanston 20 right there, brother. That's it.
The wart system.
Were they playing Marvin Gaye when you walked in?
Hello, Drew.
So
I got something for you.
This is the beautiful picture.
Oh, yeah.
You can see the river right next to it, and the big building is the old.
Oh, I see it.
The
Yeah.
old cotton mill,
Yeah.
and the new buildings are to the left, and so that's kind of the scene where we are. The car park is just to the left of this picture here.
So when you walked into this place, did they go, Drew Bills? Like, decent
No.
20? Did they know?
No, they said, Roy. So
Yeah.
literally, we
Come
were
on.
we were
Destin,
we
seriously.
were in the we were in the gift shop, and Roy got noticed, and people started gathering around. And
That's
talking
crap.
To him. It's like,
Do
that's
they
okay.
know? Destin 20 is, come on. No one likes it more than me.
Correct. So this is the key. So look at this.
Look at that.
Does that look tasty?
Delicious.
What is
Yep.
that?
That
Give
is
me
the-
more.
That is the inside of the feints receiver.
That's the secret sauce.
That's the secret.
This right
sauce,
here?
Damn
That.
right.
So
What?
So they weren't distilling
That's
it.
the Thousand Island and a Big Mac,
Yep.
buddy.
Yep.
It was almost like a waxy consistency, but they said this tank never gets clean
Hell no.
because
It's like barbecuing. You don't scrape that shit.
This is the body of Deanston right here. So this when they take the early distillate that is too high ABV, and then the tails that's in the still after completion, it all goes into this, and then they put that back in the still and add the spirit or the what comes out of the wash still onto it with the low wines. They add the low wines on top of it, redistill it, take all that, put it back in this container.
keep
Roy
working
never
it like dough.
This is because this was down. This is the first time Roy had ever been able to see in there. And you look at the underside of the lid. It's kind of this. It's got.
Oh my gosh.
Stalactites.
Drew will never see this in person because he'd be taking his shirt off and diving in.
Hey, I'd be in there like
it
bathing
looks
in
like,
it.
Yeah, it looks like waxy black tar. They say once it's full of the feints and things, it's much more fluid. It doesn't really have a thick texture. But this, there's apparently a distillery that
says the Scots.
Well, there was a distillery that turned this over, that cleaned this out one year during a changeover. The whiskey was never the same.
Yeah.
So
And all those guys got fired.
That can never be cleaned.
So is this? You think this is something that's like in a lot of different distilleries?
Every distillery has that. That's their character.
They all know, don't you ever wash
That's their spirit
this.
character. So if they need to clean it, what they do is they take all that out, put it in drums, then clean it and put it all back in there.
It's like
Are
that,
you kidding?
that southern
Oh, that's
place
crazy.
that has never changed the grease in their fryer.
Right.
Exactly.
Right? Like-
the old
best
the old
damn hush
barbecue
puppies
places
I've
that
ever
never
had.
clean their smokers.
God.
It's
Yep.
that
Okay,
same
do
thing.
not talk about frying stuff and distilling whiskey. It's not the same.
It
is
is
exactly
no,
the
it's
same
not. That's not right.
It is exactly
Because
the same.
I
all
mean-
of the flavor components that are sitting
I
in
know
there,
what
like,
you're
that's
saying.
what makes that whiskey good.
But you're ruining my dream here with Deanston. Come on.
There's nothing ruined.
No,
That's-
that
this
is
it,
the
buddy.
dream.
That's
is
the dream. If you could
So I
get
needed. I needed some sample. That's Deanston
Yes.
20
If
right
if I
there?
could get a handful of that and take it
That's
to
my
a
soft-
distill
That's like
at my
Deanston
house,
80. Are you shitting me?
It's like a sourdough starter or something like that.
that is
right? Like
that liquid there.
So no
is
one ever
proprietary.
talks about that. That would be
That is
really.
correct.
That would be really interesting because that's honestly the first time I've ever heard about this. Doing this,
Me
I
too.
I didn't know that was a thing.
That's probably.
I
the
thought you
source.
always had to clean, like super clean.
Everything but that. They do
See,
clean the shit out of everything.
Zedman has the exact thought. That is the source of Springbank funk, I think.
I think that is honestly. We've talked about
Zedman
this
is
for
absolutely
years,
right.
boys. Years about how do they do this? Are you telling me it's basically don't touch my shit, leave it alone? I mean,
Exactly. I
Well,
think
they
that's-
clean the piss out of everything but that.
Exactly.
So the stills,
But
yes,
that's the
are getting clean.
holdover. It really is like a sourdough starter,
It
right?
is.
Like you're taking a part of
The old-
this batch and mixing it into the next batch to get the consistency and the flavor profile.
Yep.
It's
that's
a
a really
Exactly.
interesting point. Like, I mean, talk about getting your own flavor profile. That's you
That's
can't
the
beat
flavor
that.
Dr.
profile.
Scotch would geek on that if we had him here.
It would be interesting to like
We need to do
really
some
do
more
that
this.
is
research on that.
surprisingly similar to a sourdough
I think they
starter,
should-
actually.
you know
'cause there's, like
It
each
really
one
is.
has its own flavor
Exactly.
profile.
We
right?
should petition that Dr. Scotch flies over to Scotland and hits like 7 distilleries and does a chemical test on each one of
I want
these.
to get. Can I get a sample of those? Can I get a
That
sample?
would be epic.
Yeah,
Never
that's
let it happen.
proprietary. That's
That's
probably
No
proprietary.
one
Never.
talks about this at
That's
all. I mean, this is
proprietary.
pretty cool.
No.
That's
But
really
it's
neat.
You're right.
it's not something that you plan for either, though. Like
You
it's an
make it-
organic.
You make it over time.
Like yeah.
Yeah.
And your whiskey character changes over time. Like when you
does.
first start up the stills, it's not going to taste the same as it is in 10 years as it builds up flavor profile and character.
That's
Right.
whiskey DNA. Mm-hmm. Their whiskey DNA.
But it also means that 10 or 20 years later, the flavor profile has slightly altered, I would imagine, because of all the batches.
Yeah,
that
and
you've brought
I think Chad is right. I think Klein Leash was the ones that cleaned out their system and
I'm grabbing some.
messed that up. Yep.
yeah, we're here
Oh.
for something else.
Next up. Eeny, meeny, miny, go.
Well, here we could do this. Decent 2000.
Oh, we're talking about these?
There you go.
Decent 2008
Why
Oloroso.
weren't we drinking this already?
Yep.
So
Well,
ahead.
I'll open it.
of course
Did
then
you bring this back from Europe?
I bought it back from Deanston. I bought it at Deanston.
You gotta open
I'll
that.
peel it out.
I'll take care of this.
All right. So the duty free warehouse number 2, you got to see that. That's where they keep the fancy whiskey up
I
there.
got a T-shirt that says that.
I do. Yep. Let's see. Go on. And I think this is my last one. This is my haul right here. While we were in Ireland, I got the Jameson Black Barrel.
Which one is that?
That's
What-
the one I put the hand pull.
That's the hand pull, so
Yeah.
it's cast strength hand
Yep.
pull.
Yep.
That's the one everybody wants.
While I was at Glenturd, I got the 10-year-old Pete Smoked. Got the Glengoyne, which you tried earlier. Tom and Tool. This 2008 Oloroso cask, which is showing right here. Those 2 samples right there. Those are Roy's samples. You can see them right there.
Yeah, that's what we just had.
And then it's out of the
And then a bunch of baby bottles.
But your little baby balls.
So these 2 little Deanston bottles, those are actually tequila barrel finished,
Oh, really?
which I wasn't real fond of, but
Where did those come from?
those from the distillery.
Oh, really?
Those it's like a 90-pound bottle, and I was like
90 pounds.
I didn't like it as much. But apparently my wife and son liked it, but they wanted to. But the thing is that's important here, and also right here. Oh, go back to this real quick.
So-
This is my son. Once he got back to the U.S., had to buy his first legal alcohol.
And it was Twisted Tea.
Right.
Twisted tea.
Really?
Twisted tea.
Yeah, well,
jeez.
Ah,
What
it's
a-
all right.
ah,
It's
he-
college.
he
At least
let-
it's not, at least it's
he
not
let
like Bush
me
He's
down.
Light.
making such good progress.
He was.
He was.
we'll make it.
But it sounds like, honestly, thanks for sharing. I can't wait to talk to you more offline. But it sounds like not only did you have an epic trip of meeting people, but it sounds like
That's delicious.
what a really good
Is it
time
really?
with your son.
Shit.
Oh wait, let me pour
That's
this.
so good.
Like,
Hang on. Olo cask
You keep
matured.
that, but I'm going to pour this little bottle
what you
52.7.
because this. I'm going to rinse that first.
This Deanston's 52.7.
Andrew
Let me
just
give the
pulled something
Deans.
out of his pocket, gentlemen.
I don't care. This is delicious. Did you
2008.
try it?
Not yet, but it smells like decent 20 a little
Oh,
bit.
it's
There's no age on
really
it.
close.
It just says, well, it says 12 years. It's
Not-
spelled 12 years. so
Not
it's
quite as
easy.
rich, not quite as deep, but it's got that like.
It smells like it a little bit, and I'm telling you.
So if it was
I'm
20 years old,
excited.
when would it have been distilled? But 2003, 2002.
Yes, this is.
Because I have this bottle.
Oh, that's nice.
What the hell's that?
This would be a 2006 Oloroso finished cask.
Where the hell did that come from? And you gave us this first?
What?
This is Drew's bottle.
What?
So
Drew's bottle.
This was what I have here is a sample from a sister cask of this that I was able to get at the Deanston Distillery.
Nice.
When we did the warehouse tour, they were sampling this, and I'm
gonna cry.
It is a beautiful whiskey.
Oh my
that
gosh.
That's really good.
Wow.
it's not 20 years old, but it's pretty close, and it is a fantastic bottle. We have a little
Okay.
sample
I
here.
I
if
want
you
to
guys
watch
wanna
Drew
try it.
sample this.
So hang on a second.
Let me go in
Let
first.
me
for
just
this.
say
I haven't tried this yet.
This 2008 Oloroso is no Virgin Oak. It's
No.
No.
I haven't tried it
It's
yet, but it's
really
really
good.
wonderful.
it's delicious.
So this is a sister cask. It's
This
not the
is the
exact
sister,
same cask.
okay.
Yeah. So
Have you had this one? Have you had this?
Very
I've not.
floral.
Flippin'
yeah, I
good.
did try this at the distillery. They had this at the distillery to try.
That's
Yeah.
really nice.
Really nice.
I like that one.
Oh, there's a little 20 in that.
There's a little 20 in that.
There's a little 20 twin.
A little twin
twin.
twin.
little 20.
I'm not kidding.
So I got that bottle because
Holy
I
crap.
couldn't go to Deanston and not get him an excellent
That's
bottle
fair.
because it's probably not fair that I went there first. So I
God
thought
love you.
I had to do it.
So it doesn't smell like these 20 at all. It's
No.
more floral, but there's that kick of sulfur there that I love.
So
about these
that's
20.
coming from that same Faints receiver of that era.
Honestly,
The receiver was flavored like that.
I smelt it on the nose, and I even got it on the palate. There is a funk in there.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I like that. That's why I thought this is perfect.
Yep.
It's good.
I'm not saying it's
Enjoy it.
it's
It's
not
not
Campbelltown
Springbank,
funk. No,
yeah,
but
but it's-
there's a little
There's
funkiness going on.
But you know, I
up
get
inside
that sometime with Deanston, like that sweat socky, tangy,
Something
like
unique about it.
Oh, there is funk on that.
You smell it?
it's good.
Oh, yeah, it's got this depth and
But this one,
good.
I don't know. Yeah, this
one's
it's pretty flipping ass good. This
smells so good.
Olo is.
it brought the thunder on it.
You bought
that
this at the
Oloroso
distillery?
is
So Martin said that he had that too. Did you get it at the distillery too? I don't know if it's distillery exclusive, but I know it was going to be a great whiskey. I tried it as part of the
really,
tasting.
really good.
It was good.
Oh my gosh, that is
What this 08?
that is really good. Holy crap!
Yeah.
They're both really good. They're very different,
They are different, for sure.
but I still get a little bit of a funk on this as well. I always did on the Deanston 20 too. Like it's got that, like Drew describes it as burnt toast,
He
and I get
does.
that. It's got that like
It does a little
over
bit.
caramelized
Yeah.
flavor profile a
Okay.
little bit, but it's also got like a funky quality to it, like a tanginess about
This
it.
is the first time I've had anything other than Deanston 20 that reminds me the one you just sampled, and then this one also has it as well.
Oh,
Yep.
It's. I mean, to me, that's Deanston. That's
it is
that's what
Deanston.
you're
Yes.
reminding.
That's really good.
I want to pull back to two comments. First and foremost, Tom Harper. I asked you guys about Highland Park. You recommended. I picked up the 12. Liked it so much. Got the 18.
Nice.
Tom, I'm stoked. I'm excited. I'm glad for you. You know, not all of our recommendations, if you will. I don't try to make recommendations. I have to really talk to you before I make a recommendation. But I'm glad you got some good advice. But Eric Waite
Yeah, have you
is
been
in
watching his
Glasgow
Facebook?
right now. That guy's over in the
I
motherland.
mean, he's got to be like
I was gonna say, what time is it over there?
4 in the morning.
Yeah, and he
Keep
was
trucking,
just-
brother.
Yep. He's up early to get it going.
Well,
Yeah.
and he spent like a week at Springbank at the whiskey school,
He
and then
should.
he's been
Good
in
for him.
Isla, and now
I'm
he's in
jealous.
Glasgow.
He's a master.
Yeah, the thing is, I know that Roy is not in Glasgow right now. He's on vacation
Yeah.
in Spain for a
Right.
couple weeks. So
Family
he's out.
vacation. Yeah.
Good for him.
Eric,
Spain
hey,
doesn't
slash him out,
suck.
brother. Man,
Slash
keep
it.
living the
Cheers
dream,
to
brother.
that.
I'm jealous to you, and glad you are able to
my
chime in
gosh.
for a hot second.
Yep.
Enjoy your travels and safe travels to you. Bring the haul home, brother. Bring the haul home.
I want to
That's
sit
good.
here and enjoy this because I'm going to need a minute.
Yeah. No, it's not something you want to
Need a
rush,
minute.
right?
Well, you know what? There's a patron after show that we could go to and talk through this whiskey.
Drew's like,
I'm gonna cry.
I want to thank my friends.
Are you kidding? We're going to turn this off. Drew's going to be like, all right, get out. He's
Right.
just going to sit here. in
Get
the back
out!
with
Give
his
me my
glass.
bottle.
Oh shit!
Awesome story. I can't wait to hear more about it. But that was really cool. It sounds like I had a good time.
Yeah, it was good. I tried to fly through it. I know we're over, but
That's all right.
I'm
Good
glad
times.
you had a good time. You've been over to Europe many times. I know you guys have been to France a ton of times and love France. But I'm glad you got a chance to see UK, Ireland, and Scotland and do the whole experience. I think you got a really good exposure to
yeah,
it.
I got a taste of Scotland, and there's so much
You want
more, to
more,
see.
right?
Yeah.
So,
I
so
mean,
is your
so
wife good to go back? Was
Absolutely,
did
she wants
love
to go
it?
back to Scotland too. Of the three places we went, yeah, she wants to go back to Scotland.
Good.
Yep.
We could go back next week if we could.
Yeah, I agree.
I could live there.
You know,
Honestly.
Yeah.
So the best example, the people in Scotland are so friendly, and the best example I have of that is when we got to Scotland. We'd been in Europe for 8 days or something, 9 days. We needed to do some laundry, so we got on a city bus and we went to a laundromat and did our laundry. My son had noticed when we were sitting on the bus, every person that got on the bus, they would scan their card and thank the bus driver. Thank you. Cheers, man. Cheers. Thank you. Thank you. Who thanks the bus driver?
They don't in the States.
Not in the States.
Usually they're like, get pissed.
The Scottish
Right.
thank the bus
And
driver
that's nice.
for doing the job. And that is the essence of a person. You don't need to thank the bus driver. They're going to do their job anyway, but they do because that's their culture. And that's just what they do. And it's all embracing everyone. That is the culture that
I agree.
Scotland is.
I will
agree.
move to Scotland sometime in my life.
Yep. I'm glad you had a good time.
It was
You
a
guys
great
had
time.
That's awesome, and I'm excited for your son. I mean, I wish the Cubs would have won both games, but whatever.
Loser.
He got to drinking age in good fashion.
Hell yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was
Such
good.
a great time.
Wow.
So yeah, my son, when we got to Scotland, he had 16 different whiskeys in 3 days. So
Good
it was
for
a good
him.
time for him.
Well, he's off to a good start.
He is.
Now we got to get him off of this Lanjar or whatever he bought in his first purchase.
Yeah, twisted tea. Yeah.
Crap. But
There's no need.
yeah,
I can tell you.
Let him. He'll work his way through.
The thing
that.
is, Scotch is so expensive.
Well,
College kids
he's
can't
going to
afford
retire
Scotch.
at 25.
True.
I'm not saying he has to drink Scotch all the time, but
Does he
Sure.
know we have a plethora of Scotch?
right? Yeah,
His
yeah,
first
it
Scotch
is
he
what
wants
it
to
is.
buy is a Balvenie Caribbean Cask 14.
I
mean,
don't blame
you know
him.
what?
That was one of my first
I know, and that's
favorites,
why I
too.
said when he
Yes.
tasted that at the Ushka Bay bar, and he was like,
I know, right?
"It just kicking you."
Good.
We need some time.
All right.
On that note, thank you for watching.
Cheers,
Wow,
everybody.
man.
A couple
That was a
weeks.
cool tour.
2 weeks from now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Watch
we
out.
are off next week.
Thanks,
we'll see you
Andrew.
in 2 weeks.
Cheers.
Good to see y'all.
Cheers.
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 3, 2, 1.